Yo, yo, yo. It's Thursday night, and we have Dean. Wait up. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Just had to start off right. Salads with Dean. It's your boy High Five Vega. This is a show where I don't know what we do.
Yeah, I mean,
Car audio for the most part.
Good name.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, had to start it off with, not a clickbait title because this really happened.
Yeah.
So I'll explain the story as you eat. If you guys haven't already seen, there was a post about JL Audio, a Garmin post, and it said, same great equipment. I forgot to pull it up. I think it was same great equipment, different name.
Yeah.
So from that post, I think most people would probably think that they're changing the name from JL Audio to Garmin Audio.
That's a fair guess.
Right. Just by the way the post looked and the picture. And I think it leaked even before they posted it, from what I heard. And then the true thing that's happening is they're renaming all the social media groups, the community stuff, to Garmin because they do more than just JL Audio, apparently, in audio. I didn't know that, but they do.
Yeah, they have Fusion and they have Clarion, obviously.
Yeah. So just a faux pas, if you will. But I think it leads to a more interesting question is, this is exactly what everybody thought was going to happen when Garmin bought JL Audio.
Yes.
And it's happening.
Well, I mean, so we have a track record, right? Because Fusion was a brand, like
right, yeah.
It was a car stereo brand. Wasn't a good one, but they made marine audio. And then Garmin bought them, and the next thing you know, it's like doesn't exist anymore. There's no more Fusion 12 volt.
Yeah, it's just marine.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of had a lot of a bass headgear, if I remember right. Maybe like cheap Audio Bond-esque, maybe something in that range.
So we sold a Fusion amplified subwoofer enclosure.
Yeah.
So that was like a precursor to the Rockford. So we actually went to the Rockford because the Fusion box went away. We were selling more of the Fusions because it was a price point thing.
Right. And I assume it's probably $80 less or something like that.
I don't even think we had looked at the Rockford.
Really?
Because, well, Paul's a one-trick pony. He needs one thing. So,
yeah.
He'll just keep selling the same thing until he can't. So, so when that went away, that they were they had everything 12 volt, Fusion amps, Fusion radios, Fusion speakers.
Yeah. And so I think Derek was the one that brought this to my attention about the whole Garmin thing. And I was telling him that, in my opinion, JL Audio has been out of car audio for a decade. But I could be wrong. I mean, they're in car audio, but I think the last thing of note that I remember is them coming out with the VXI amps.
So it's funny. The thing that's made them relative as of late is MaxTune.
Right, you're right, MaxTune. I completely forgot about MaxTune, and that was, I think, Mark Eldridge had it at World Finals here when it was in Arkansas. That was like 2 or 3, 4 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've seen it.
Yeah. So, I mean, right now, but I mean, you don't just wake up one morning and decide you want to sell the company. Right? So, I mean, you know what's coming. Like you have a plan in place, and you're like, hey, you're either going, one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to die, you're going to ride it until you just die in your office, kicker, or you have a plan to get out, right?
Yeah.
If you have a plan to get out, you have to put together a numbers package. because that's what these investors want to look at. And so, there's all these games you have to play to show how much money you've made, how much money you're going to make, how much stuff costs, all the nonsensical stuff. And like we've seen this game played a lot with other manufacturers, Amp America. And so JL is no different. So when you look at like products that were coming out, Indian food, I don't know what it is, but it's just Indian food. It's leftovers from last night. Really good. So, you're not coming out with a bunch of new products if you're going to be selling the company.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, I feel like maybe, and you deal with car audio directly as a retailer, so you can tell me if this is true or not. But I felt like they went full in on motorsports, and they were doing really well at that. And car audio was just kind of on the back burner for whatever amount of time it was.
Well, marine specifically, because they really don't do anything outside of marine. But there again, they owned that. They came out with they signed the right deals, they made the right friends. They went after that market share. And to be honest, they really didn't feel like they needed to do anything with 12 volt, because they figured they're here. What do we need to do differently, right? They have the same mentality that Rockford had. That it's like, listen, ain't no one come out with anything close to us.
Yeah,
in their mind. I mean,
right. Except DSP, their DSP was pretty rough until they come out with VXI. Well, the VXI solved that, but before it was just the was it the Tweak 88 or something like that?
Yeah, but it's the Tweak and the Tune are all. The VXI uses the exact same software, so it's not like it's any different.
Really? I haven't played with the VXI yet. So
yeah, it's the same stuff. It's just built into one. But what did they need to do? They had.
We lost Dean. We will be back shortly while we wait on Dean to rejoin. Yeah, the Gladiator's great. I actually plan on doing a video of it soon. He's back.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know either. That was weird.
Yeah. Okay. What I was going to say is, they have their sevens, speaker components, which are high end. People love them.
Yeah.
They have the cheaper ones, the 1s and the 3, and
right.
They came out with a 6, and they've had a 5, and they've, so like speaker wise, like they're fine. They have plenty of speakers, and like other than form factor, what else do you really need to do to a speaker, right?
Right.
I mean, if it sounds good, if it's selling well, you don't need to change it. I mean, that's a Japanese mentality. It's like, we need to change it every 3 years. It's like, no, it works. Just leave it alone.
Right.
Unless you're going to do a form factor change, there's really no reason to retool something. And then you look at their amplifiers, they make way too many amplifiers.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, holy crap. Now, the form factor of their amplifiers is very antiquated as far as I'm concerned. Like, I was looking at it the other day, and I'm just like, man, it's all big. It's not compact. It's not user. It's not friendly for a modern vehicle. Which the same could be said about Rockford. I mean, but they do make smaller stuff. So they came out with the mini power amplifiers, and that was like, as soon as they got to a reasonable price on that, that's all we sold.
Yeah. Because
that fits in a modern car. It doesn't work so well in a modern electrical system, but it was fine for a while, So, in the W7 has been around since, the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And it's still a fantastic subwoofer.
Oh, yeah.
It's still everyone is basically has been chasing that woofer. I mean, are there better woofers out there? 100%. But there's still the mystique of the W7 that, Like,
Yeah.
wow. Like, ooh.
That sub is hard to beat for an all around. If you want something that can get really loud and sound good, it's a great sub. I mean, the price point's a little steep, but it's JL Audio. Everything JL Audio is pretty much a little steep.
Right. So, hi, Ash.
Hey.
So, yeah, I mean, now what Garmin is doing is basically what most of these big companies do when they come in, is that they just take over, right? They rough shot. They're a bigger company. They have more money. They have more people. They have a better way of doing things. They basically want JL for its brand. They're going to buy it for that. They bought it for that. They own it for that. And they're just, um, it's funny on this side of the table because like listening to retailers talk about it, and some of the experiences they've had with the new sales staff that know absolutely nothing about car audio.
Mm,
You just sit there and you go, why would you guys do this? I mean, I had the same questions when Audio Control got bought and they fired all their reps, and it was like, why did you do that? Like, these are the guys that these were the guys that were your flag bearers. These are the guys that believed in you. These were the guys that were pounding the pavement. And you're like, yeah, but we don't care.
yeah.
That was then, this is now. We have a different direction we're going to go with the company, and we don't need these people for that. Are you sure? Yeah, we're fine. Which the reality is I if I'm going to guess, and this is just a guess, 3 or 4 years from now, the 12-volt side, the car side of it is just going to be like maintenance. It's like they offer it because people are still buying it,
Right.
but they're not putting money into it because there's no money in their business mind. That's not what they do.
Right. That was my next question. What do you think is going to end? And I agree. I think that I feel like car audio was a second thought, and I could be wrong for a long time.
Well, I think with Garmin, car audio isn't even on the page.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
what do they care? I
Yeah.
mean, we saw it with Fusion. They didn't care.
Yeah.
I mean, they want it for a very specific market that they're in.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate that JL is really successful in that market.
Yeah.
So they bought it to do that,
When it seems like Rockford, as far as I know, as an average Joe, not on the inside, it seems like they're doing okay though, and they've been left to do their thing somewhat. Whereas I feel like JL, we're getting the other side of the coin.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be nice if they could just sell like Audio Control sold the home.
Yeah.
And they share the website. It'd be nice if they could sell the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ash, if you're short, you could probably make that work. But if you're tall, no.
No, I mean, just get the L7Ts.
What's that?
Do the L7Ts.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you could do two L7T10s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fine. Yeah. Those actually, the factory boxes would probably, I don't know. The factory boxes are pretty narrow. See what the factory boxes are. Go to the website and check the specs on the factory boxes.
Yeah.
And then just kind of like model it out of cardboard and see if that fits behind your seat.
Yeah, I mean, you know who makes a great slim woofer? Garmin now.
Oh yeah, Garmin for sure.
Garmin makes a great slim woofer. The TW3, excellent. The Garmin Audio TW3.
No, and there you go. Like the reps, it says we'd rep JL for 35 years. Now we are partnering with new brands, and that was the thing. Like a lot of the JL reps were like exclusive with JL. Like they for years.
Well, they kind of demanded that, didn't they? A bit
for a while.
Yeah.
I know our rep here in Florida, the only 12-volt brand they had was JL.
Wow.
Yeah, it was it. So I know other JL reps that they had other brands. But yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's just the way things are. I mean, as we move forward, I mean, let's look at like the 90s, right? So the 90s, we saw Ryan go away. We saw Precision Power go away. We saw Hyphonics go away, Crunch, all all those brands all disappeared.
Right.
Know?
Oh yeah.
For one reason or another, they all went the way of the dodo bird. So, and now it's the next line of products. So we're gonna see, Rockford got bought by Progressive Group. Progressive Group has a different mentality as far as how they're doing business, because of where Rockford falls in it. However, they also bought Wet Sounds, and some of the guys at Wet Sounds might be like, "Hey, we're not getting the same love that Rockford is getting." It's because they're different parts of the company and they have different budgets and constraints along those lines. So,
plus we all knew Wet Sounds sucked the whole time.
I don't know.
They weren't. They're not. Well, I mean, they had a premium price. They didn't live to that price, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. They're again never had any experience with it. Just know some people that work there.
Yeah.
But hey, and they make competing products, which to me is like, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just the way that company runs. It's like, well, yeah,
Right.
this company, they might make competing products, but it's like, all right, well, let's see who's the best. Let's let them duke it out. So, whatever works for you.
Yeah.
I just don't think. I don't know. I mean, I think JL is just gonna fade away. It'll always be in the marine world, and I mean, there's been rumors and talk and like, what are they gonna do? And it's like to me, you just look at what Garmin has done in the past.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, the only thing they might add that's different is, in a couple years, if they stick with 12 volts, so to speak, you might see like a JL licensing program come out where they'll like license JL, like Ford or somebody like that, or will license the name,
Right.
to put a JL system in an F-150. But now they got to go up against Harman to do that, which is like, or Bose, which is really the only reason why Bose bought Macintosh, was so that they could offer something other than Bose, because they're getting their asses handed to them from the Harman Group, because they have so many assets to offer.
Yeah.
Bose would be smart to pick up the 12 volt side of JL. Like, if I was Bose,
yeah,
I would be knocking on Garmin's door, being like, "Hey, can we license the 12 volt name from you?" Like,
why not?
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time stuff like that.
Yeah, people know. That's the thing. I give JL crap here and there, but it's honestly, it's a pretty. I mean, it is the name I think of when I think of speakers. Kicker and JL audio from back when I got into car audio. That's the two subwoofers that you got, one or the other.
Yeah, and there again, JL isn't going anywhere.
Right. We're just. I'm saying future.
Right.
They're not going anywhere for now.
No, and JL will not go. Like, JL Marine is not going anywhere.
Right.
That is why
I'm talking in the 12 volt.
Yeah. So the 12 volt side of things it's going to be interesting, because you just, like I said, you look at what they've done, and it just, to me, it just doesn't seem like they're interested in that. But there again, I don't know. Yeah. We'll have to see.
I wonder what they do with their home audio, because they do some pretty high end home audio stuff too.
Again, I mean, I feel like you just sell that shit.
Yeah, I mean,
if I would sell it, I mean, it's worth something, but is it worth something to them? Is it worth the heartache?
Right.
Because it might not be worth the effort, so to speak, to sell it, which I don't understand, but I also not a $400 billion company. So, when you go, well, I mean, we could roll this out to somebody else and sell it for, $1.5 million. Like, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Especially right now. I mean, who knows?
When, Franco says he thinks of MTX for subs and dates. It's crazy how regional that is.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, there were like a third or fourth tier at the time that we did have places that sold them, but it was like, and Orion turned out not to be nothing either, but it was like Orion, Rockford Fosgate, Kicker, JL, then the other brands.
Well, I mean, there again, they have new engineers, so I don't really see that as being a stickler, so to speak. Plus, they have a lot more money now to do
Yeah.
things. But I think the things that they're going to develop are going to be things that are necessary for the marine world and not the 12-volt side of things. I just don't see. We'll see. I mean, I got nothing else. We got more pressing problems now than we need to worry about JBL or JL. Because, you know, so for all you guys that are like, hey, are these tariffs going to matter or anything like that?
That was literally my next question.
So tariffs are going to be a thing, and they're going to be a problem for everyone.
Right.
They're, again, not politically motivated. Don't really care. Don't care who you voted for. Doesn't mean shit. Go America great again. Whatever you want to do. May 1st is going to be the deadline that these manufacturers, that is when the proverbial price shit is going to hit the fan.
Right.
Okay. Effective May 1st, everyone is going to be raising their prices. And it's going to suck. So if there's something you want to buy it now. Because we were on the phone with one of the manufacturers today. 2 actually, but 1. It's going to be a 20% increase May 1st. Product line is being reduced. So anything that is made in China is going away. Like not even going to be offered. So those like mid-5 price point radios, you're not going to be able to get them. Like,
Buy Pioneer.
Like they're going to be gone. Yeah. Because it's just, you know, what it costs more than the high end. So they're just discontinuing the whole shebang.
Right.
Will they ever bring back? Who the hell knows? But right now, you know, because manufacturers learned after the first time that they need to diversify out of China. So a lot of manufacturers have. They're made all over the world now, except here. And so, but you're still at 20, 25, whatever. I don't know. But
right.
So
it's not 150 or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So
it's still going to be.
So a 958 Kenwood Exelon radio is going to be $1,000, which is ridiculous, you know. But hey, you know, go for it. I mean,
dude, in my opinion, it's like it just seems like the worst time for this to happen because I already feel like, not for the big guys, but for car audio, for people on the edge, I feel like there's a bubble with brands, you know, like downtown, like Sky High Car Audio, and the other brands that are within that, they're kind of bigger ones, so they'll probably withstand better than some of the smaller. But there's a ton of smaller, and I don't even know how tough that's going to be on them because
again, this is the weird part of all this. This isn't like COVID, where it was a national emergency and crazy stuff. This is literally something that we're actively doing to the economy.
Right.
Entire week working. Yeah.
We'll see. And what I think is going to happen is just people are not going to be buying this stuff because everything's getting more expensive. So at some point, people that had a limited budget, people that have a budget to buy these things, it'll be the same. But people that had a limited budget are going to have to focus in on the things that they really need and not the luxuries. Besides, listen, I'm on Facebook. There's a lot of irresponsible car audio people. I'm one of them. So
yeah, I mean, but there again, this is a different thing. Like, you know, this is everyone's. It's like I don't know. There again, I don't know what's going on. I work and I sleep and I work and I sleep and people tell me things and I go, okay.
We can't change none of this. We just gotta adapt to whatever happens.
No, we have no say in any of it.
Yeah,
so, you know, but multiple manufacturers have all said the shit is going to hit the fan May 1st.
Right.
So
and you can see it coming. I mean, it's coming from everywhere. Even like Ben says, golf clubs. It doesn't matter. Anything that's a luxury, it's going to be a hard sell with a price increase to anybody almost.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I just, you know, and man, I mean, the screwed up thing was the economy was just barely hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
You know, and now it's just like.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like it was getting. I mean, egg prices are still high. Gas is still high. all this stuff didn't go down, and then you're just adding this on top of it. So
Yeah.
all the luxury stuff's like, some people have to make a decision like, hey, I got to get gas, I got to get groceries or whatever.
Yeah.
And these other items for people that don't have expendable income like that, they'll just fall to the wayside.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, great way to, I was, I was talking with one manufacturer and he's like, dude, I'm an American company. Yeah. I have my stuff made somewhere else.
Right.
There's like these 3 employees. And he's not going to be able to sell his product anywhere in the world because it's not even going to be competitive.
Right.
And just bringing it into the US is going to be ridiculous. So, I mean, some of these products are going to disappear if this stays longer than, if like,
oh yeah, this is,
these companies are going to go out of business.
well, what's going to happen is it's do you think it, even if the trade war's in, so they could change that tomorrow, but they could change it back and forth. Like a company can't switch on a dime, which I didn't think the government could do either, but they are.
Yeah.
Like it's day to day. A company can't do that. They plan their purchases months out, years out, and their product lineup. So you just don't have that flexibility as a company. So once prices go up, they may come back down, but it may be a while. Or not.
I mean, because the thing is what else is it affecting? So
Yeah.
Once the current inventory is what it is, and that's why they're like May 1st is going to be 0 day 100, because that's when a lot of the inventory is new. Like there are companies like Boss. Let's take Boss for example. Boss is done. Like they're not shipping anything in the United States. Okay, so like they canceled all orders, and if you had, it's not coming. It's not coming. Because it doesn't even make sense. Is that a shame? But yeah, it is, because there are people that lives depend on it, and that's and they're not the only one. There are other manufacturers doing the same thing. It's like once the warehouse is empty, there's no second order, because even if you could, let's say you say, oh, well, screw it, we'll do it at 100. Like if you buy if a product is normally, let's say $150, and you buy it for $300, and let's say whatever nonsense is going on, they rectify it in 2 months, and then it goes back to $150 product. You're stuck with this inventory you paid $300 for. So you talked about, well, the prices go down. No, the prices can't go down until you sell the inflated priced product. So when you say, oh, we're going to fix it, well, they have products that are coming in now, and they have to pay for those products at this inflated price. So until those products are gone from the warehouse and they can order new ones at a discounted price, the prices can't go down. So a lot of these manufacturers are just going, we're just not going to order, because they don't want to get, they don't know. They don't understand. They don't know. They have no understanding of what is happening. They're just as confused as the rest of us. Well, apparently some of us, because whoever's got the plan with the agenda on it isn't talking. So
yeah, so it's gonna be a bad deal, because much crap as we give companies like Scar and Boss and others, they serve a market of people. There is people that they just want something very basic. Maybe their radio and their old 68 Chevy went out. They just want a $20 radio they could throw in there.
Well, now just get $150 $20 radio.
Right, exactly. And then now some other company may have something that can compete, or nobody can compete at that price. And now the new base radio is $300.
Yeah. Well, so if you look at, like, if a 958 is going to go up to $1,000, okay, so it's like that's a price increase for sure.
Yeah.
And then you go, all right, well, the $350 radios are going away. Like they're not going to exist. Like they're gone. Poof. So you're paying more for everything. You're just not going to buy a radio.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really what it comes down to, because like you said, it's not eating is more important.
Right.
So
now knuckleheads like me, I do stuff and I'll be able to spend money recklessly like I have been. But I probably won't, but there will be people that do, but I just think it's gonna be a tough time for cardio, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's a non-essential.
Well, I mean, anything like this is going to be,
Right. Yeah.
pants, clothes,
Yeah.
tennis shoes.
It's
Like,
hitting both my hobbies: cardio, golf. Golf's already ridiculously expensive equipment. I
right.
mean, it's just gonna keep getting worse.
So I guess we're just all maybe
Doom and gloom.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, but hey, on the bright side of things, I don't really have anything. I just
on the bright side of things.
I mean, that's really the only thing anyone is talking about this week is the fact that it's like impending doom is right around the corner and no one can understand why.
You just got to wait and see what happens. At this point, you got to see what happens. I mean, I guess companies might have some kind of plan on what they want to do, but us as consumers, I mean,
yeah, they're raising the prices. That's literally what they're doing. I mean, so one manufacturer I was talking to, they have, and there again, so like 38 other products that this one manufacturer has come from China. Everything else comes from other countries. So those 38 products are getting hit like a ton of bricks. So they're going to eventually, so the plan is, of course, to stop buying those products, which is the goal, right? But they have to still go somewhere else to have those products built. They're not going to build them here. They're not even an American company. So there is no bringing it back, so to speak, because they're not from the U.S. So, so even now, what they're doing is the manufacturer is eating half of the cost, and the retail and the importer is eating the other half of the cost.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're trying to keep the product that is coming in under control, but there again, May 1st is the deadline.
Right.
And it's like, okay. So
we get to see, like, listen, Ashy, I'm telling you, secondhand market probably is going to be pretty great for a little while.
it might.
Yeah. So
yeah. I don't know about the subpar products. I can tell you right now that anything that I've bought in the 12 industry that's made in America, I have more problems with than anything that I've gotten from overseas. And I can guarantee you that if you call any manufacturer up, they'll tell you the same thing, that their failure rates are down lower than they've ever been at any point in time that they've ever been in business. I mean, we don't have a workforce that can, or the machines, even if it's just machines, that can do this, and it's not like we're going to have them tomorrow.
No, it's going to take a while. Like, even if you're for the plan, I mean, that's fine, but there is a big period of suffering. And that's to even say that you can get people to take these jobs here now.
Well, maybe if we're all suffering and we all lose our jobs because we can't,
then you have to,
and then we'll just have to go work in a factory and turn screws.
Well, listen, I already work in a factory, so I'm there. But
yeah, I mean, we'll all be.
Luckily, I manufacture stuff here in
we
the
don't
USA.
manufacture screws in the U.S., so maybe we'll have to, we'll have to start. Maybe you'll be the guy that's manufacturing screws.
Yeah,
watching the big machine.
There we go.
Screws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or making lead toys.
Yeah. Lead toys are fun.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes.
Hey,
I'm not opposed to anything. I just, it's like, I like my money.
Well, this directly affects,
just because.
Like me, it affects me as a hobby. It affects, this is what you do. Like, this is what, like, it, for instance, almost nothing for my day job comes from China besides lithium. And that's not what we do. We mostly do lead acid. So it's not going to affect me directly that way. It's going to affect me in the hobbies and it's going to affect me in the pocketbook. It's going to affect everybody in the pocketbook.
Right. I was going to say, I mean, we're looking at it like 12 volt is the only thing that's going to be screwed here.
Yeah, it's
so much of everything is going to be screwed. So
right.
and it's currently getting screwed. But
Yeah.
hey, America's making so much money right now.
America might be, but Americans aren't. Listen, don't tell me you save me money until I pay less taxes. When I pay less taxes, then you can say you saved me money. Till then, you saved America money. Who America is, I don't know, but not me.
So bad.
That's my argument, man. Until I pay less taxes, you didn't save me anything.
You know, it's funny. Most and there again, I don't want to turn this into politics because I'm not a guy that's into politics. I don't do politics. I don't follow any news. I don't watch CNN. I don't watch Fox. I don't watch MS whatever. I don't even like those things don't exist in my life. The only news that I actively do anything with is see Outlook.
I knew it.
Outside of that, I don't, and I will for 10 minutes on my way to work. If the local talk show isn't on, I will listen to NPR, and they have the BBC hour on. So I might catch 8 minutes of BBC. That's it. That's the extent of my news. I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel. I don't watch Jimmy Fallon. I don't do anything news related. I am the most like secondhand news guy there is. People love to tell me.
Yeah.
But it's what it is. The only thing I can react to is what is in front of my face, which is the manufacturers that we do business with are all raising their prices for whatever is going on, and they're all in a panic. And so that makes me worry.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's no reason for it that I'm aware of, which is there again, and somebody has a plan, apparently, but we don't know what it is. And so as a country, we're beholden to this. And that doesn't make any fucking sense in any world that I live in. So that's where I'm at on all this, just so we understand. I'm not picking a side. The only side I'm on is mine.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's how I've said it before. I really don't like any politician in particular. I don't root for any of them, and I feel like they work for us. So I'm more of a libertarian than anything else. So that's where I stand on it. It's like I feel like they work for me, and if they're doing something that's not great, I should be allowed to say something about it. It's like, hey, so sometimes they do good things. Sometimes I would say a lot of times, no matter what side you're on, they do a lot of bad things.
Oh, everybody does bad things. And there again, when it says things have to change somehow, to what? I mean, I wasn't unhappy at all. Like my life was going great. Everything was working the way it was supposed to. I get up in the morning, I go to work, I have customers, they pay me, I pay my taxes, I go to get food, I pay the guy for the food he gives me, I go to the gas station, I pay the gas station guy I go to the grocery store. So I'm doing my job. I'm doing my job as a consumer. When you don't let me do my job as a consumer and you make it hard for me to do my job, then I have to look at the guy who's doing that and go, what the fuck are you doing? And if you're like going to say, hey, I'm doing this, great. Okay, that's cool. Lay it out for me. All right, I can get behind that. But if you're not doing that, if you're just making bullshit up, I call poo-poo. Focal also has a really nice playlist. If you go to the Focal, like real Focal side, they have several playlists for different types of music you can listen to. We've talked about those in the past on the show. They have like iTunes links where you can go and download the whole playlist, but they have a bunch of them. It's pretty cool.
There's Mecca has one they put out there. Almost all of them, all the big orgs are on Spotify with their own little playlist.
Spotify sucks.
Yeah, I like it.
It's owned by China.
Yeah. Well, hey, Spotify is on. They're started Swedish or something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They raised the price 25%.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, everyone's raising the price 25%. Get used to it.
I know. Can I get a pay increase 25%? Offset it and we'll all be the same.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not getting a cost of living raise. I know that.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but we won't be getting one of those.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever gotten one of those. But you know, if we went to war with China tomorrow, I'm pretty sure we'd all be speaking Chinese by the weekend.
Listen, just being the history person I am, China has never won a war, even against Japan, which is the smallest country ever.
Yeah, but the thing is, let's be honest, wars are stupid. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They serve no purpose. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, they make a point. Okay, so that's the point. I mean, I get it.
Right.
Yeah, I feel terrible for like the Ukraine having to deal with this shit for the last 3 years.
Right.
Like, are you kidding me? Of course, there again, we were in a war with freaking for what, 20 years, 15 years, like for what?
Yeah.
You know, what did we end up doing? And give it all back in the end, apparently. Wow, that's crazy. That's an insult. So we're pretty much come to the point where hopefully we could realize that they, you know, unless you're a small country and you have a dictator and you just want to kill all the people with no guns, okay, that might be an interesting way to approach things. But you know, if there's two guys with guns firing at each other, you're gonna go nowhere. So that's that. I don't know what that has to do with car audio. So good topics tonight.
It happens. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but hey, I guess.
Hey, listen, life happens even in car audio. Believe it or not.
Believe
it or not. Yeah.
Yeah. So what else you got going on?
Outside of that, pretty much nothing. I did order something before the price comes in, and I hate they shipped it in the stupid packing peanuts.
Yeah.
I hate that, but look at that.
Oh wow.
Got some LTO cells here. I get a little more juice in the Trooper.
So how many of those did you get?
I got 5. I'm gonna run it 5S because if I did 6 of these, I would have to charge it like 15.3 volts.
Okay.
And 5 of these you can charge at 14 volts.
Okay.
And the Trooper actually only charges like 13.8.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be perfect for that, for 5 of them.
Now, do you have all the other silly stuff that goes with all that?
It's still coming. That's the first thing to come in.
Okay. You need like,
and, dude, listen. I said this to Derek, like when someone, and this is a battery, it has to be direct signature, right? Like when someone sends me something direct signature,
yeah,
I'm like, yeah, forget, you could keep it. I don't want it anymore.
really,
because dude, who's at home,
right,
between the hours of 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. or 1 or 2 p.m. unless they caught me at lunch. There's no way I could give them a direct signature. And it's like, I don't know who can. Most people work. Most families have 2 people working in the house. It's tough. Unless you're working from home. That's the only way.
Rob is worried that or Chris is worried you're gonna burn it to the ground.
I'll burn it to the ground. Hey, listen, I work with them every day, but we'll figure it out. These are pretty safe. These cells are pretty safe. They're not known, even if you puncture them. So,
can we talk about Rockford Freeloader? What is that? PM 1000X1. How it do what it does.
I don't even think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Further explanation needed. But yeah, I got batteries to put in the Trooper. The Audison's in there. I just need to do a bass tune, get the batteries in there, put the Warhorse in, and then we'll be up playing music and messing around with it. So
yeah.
Outside of that, the audio controls subs in the Jeep doing what they're supposed to be doing. So I need to make a video on that as well. Still haven't.
Oh, did you see the little EQ that's in the
I didn't watch that video, but I seen it pop, but I didn't get a chance to watch it today.
Yeah. That's a neat one.
What one was that? What was that in?
So that's in their little Power Sport
Okay.
amplifiers.
Yeah.
So the 4-channel and the 5-channel, you can buy the little PX aux or PX app,
Yeah.
which allows you to plug in and access a 6 or 4-channel 5-band plus crossover little EQ thing inside the amplifier.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so they give you 5 bands of parametric. I haven't looked at any of the comments or anything, but I it's like we've been talking about it for several months now. I think they started showing it at I think they started showing it in Knowledge Fest end of January. They were like, hey, here's a working prototype. I've been trying to get them to send me one for a while. Right. They're like, it's not ready. I'm like, whatever. Okay, here we go. But no, so we poked around with it, showed you how to use it, and it's one of those things where it's kind of interesting, right? Because it's like, okay, so here's an amplifier that already exists,
right?
And there's space on the chip, right? And what if we give you access to the space on the chip? Because we have to use this chip. We can do other things with it. They've been doing it for years,
right?
Where they put a tune inside of an amplifier to make it sound, the way they want it. But what if we gave you access to that and you did it? Would you do it? For one, and how complicated does it have to be?
I think for power sports, it's a honestly pretty good idea because not everybody puts a head unit in on their power sport. A lot of them just the people I know, half of them have a head unit, half of them just use a Bluetooth amp,
right?
And that's how they control it directly from their phone. So having access to that.
Well, I think the power sport, it just kind of worked out like they were already in development.
Yeah.
But I mean, as long as the amplifier has, like, all amplifiers have a DSP chip of some kind.
Yeah.
Whether it's not, when you say DSP, automatically people assume, oh, the shit. And it's like, no, it's just a DSP chip because all Class D amplifiers need equalization.
Right.
But so what does that mean if, let's say, the LX stuff is tapped out. So let's just take that out of the lineup.
Right.
Everything that amp can possibly do, they're doing with that chip. Okay, so there's nothing there. But let's just say, take Kicker out of the equation, and let's just say, like X brand, they're using a fairly substantial. I mean, the first thing is it has to be a decent DSP chip on there. There's a lot of inexpensive ones that you can use that'll get the job done. But let's say you have a fairly higher end product, because a lot of these motorsport products aren't cheap.
Right.
They're because they're water and they're IP6 and IP7 and IP5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But let's say you bought a down for sound amp, and Class D, big dumb amp, and JP's guy said, hey man, we can turn this on. Would they, or would you use it?
Right.
I
mean, hey,
that's I don't know. I don't know where this falls in. I mean, I liked your analogy. A lot of these power sports, they're just putting in players, little Bluetooth players. So
right.
Having some form of equalization would be kind of nice for sure.
I mean, if you're doing in that kind of situation, I think it's good. If you have a head unit, if you have a factory head unit, you probably could still use that. If you have a decent head unit, something new, then or a DSP, then you're not going to use it, obviously.
Well, yeah, if you have a DSP, you're not going to use it. But even if you had an aftermarket head unit can't tune right and left.
Oh, it's right and left? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
it's right left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So each channel has a crossover.
Yeah.
Each channel has a bandpass crossover and a 5-band parametric EQ.
I mean, that's why people love the 80 PRS when it came out, right? Left, right, and you had multiple band EQ on each side.
Yeah.
Which that one wasn't parametric, but it doesn't matter. People like the left and right. So the people that love that and theoretically should love something like this.
Well, yeah, so it doesn't have time alignment, but level control can just be done through the bands of equalization. So I mean,
Right.
you can take energy that way if you need to, which is kind of what we showed in the video. Um, Ship an amp with the ability to
That
pay for, but I feel like the car manufacturers have tried that for years. Like BMW, I feel
they're
like
the
they tried
worst.
that for years,
Yeah.
and it just never works.
No.
It's like, because I mean, there was a time where BMW was like, we're just going to build all the cars the same, and then you're just going to buy the features, right? So if you want the heated steering wheel, it's there.
Yeah.
You just got to activate it. You got to pay a monthly fee or a one-time charge, and it's like, Jesus Christ, that's crazy,
The
right?
only one that does that successfully that I've noticed is Tesla, where the complete self-driving, it's in there, it's capable. You
Oh, you
gotta
have to
pay
pay
to
for
unlock
that?
it. Yeah, yeah. You either pay for it when you buy it up front, a smaller cost, you can pay per month, or you can have one that's 5 years old and pay to have it full self-driving.
Wow.
So, that's part of it. So
Okay.
we never talked about this, but you did a video on a pretty sick
Oh
solder.
yeah, the new Martin
Yeah,
Tool Company. Um, so Aussie iron was the kind of the industry standard for a very long time, and that was also Marty Dean. He was importing the Aussie irons. That was that full aluminum, and it's expensive. These are, but there again, it's an industry. We have to use tools that can withstand
right.
dropping, breaking. They work for an extended period of time, like 2, 3, 4 days at a time. Nothing that you have to have plugged in constantly. Something that you should be able to plug in at night when you leave, come back the next morning, and it's good to go for the whole day. So the Aussie iron was kind of that go-to piece. Then they decided, the guys that own the company in Australia decided that they wanted to get out of it. Some other people bought it. They came out with a plastic version of it, which Fernando has,
Yeah,
which was okay. It wasn't great. It was, obviously you dropped it, you knew you dropped it, as opposed to like the aluminum one, it would chip the concrete, which was kind of cool. And so Marty's been trying to bring that one back for a while now, and finally teamed up with the right people to do that. So now we have the Martin Tool Company, and we have the reintroduction of that product. It's not an Aussie iron, it's his. And we did a video on it, and it's expensive. There's no question about it. It's an expensive piece, but
I
there
didn't think it
again,
was that expensive though. When you look, it looks like it's a pretty high quality
oh,
piece.
it is. It's all aluminum. It's all
Yeah,
aluminum. All the accessories are
yeah.
rubber. And it's you know,
Like this. So even me, I've burnt one of these up,
I went
and
through 3 of those.
yeah, I mean,
I have a
I
brand new
like
one
it.
in the case.
I like it, but I'm just a hobbyist, and I burnt one up.
Yeah, I burnt up
So
3. One of them I knocked over, and the tip fell right. The whole tip assembly rolled right off. They've
yeah,
since fixed that. Like, they have a new tip assembly that goes on there that bolts into place and prevents that from happening. But it's just not a professional tool. I mean,
right.
to me, that piece in the Milwaukee line feels like it should be Ryobi. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
where there's nothing wrong with Ryobi as a homeowner, but day to day, like, and we've all seen the videos, like
yeah,
it's don't worry, I'm not knocking Ryobi. If you're a Ryobi rocker, it's okay. You know,
yeah,
I don't really, my Milwaukee's, I've hockey pucked these things across the floor into the wall and picked it up, and it works fine.
yeah.
There are some tools that you just don't want to do that with, and I'm a cheap tool guy, so I love cheap tools. Um, but no, I've been lacking on a good soldering iron because I refuse to go back to the Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I would rather bring an extension cord over and plug in, or I did buy they make one that's a whole soldering station that goes on like one
Yeah,
of the bigger batteries,
yeah.
and I did buy one of those.
Those are
Right.
cool. That is Rowby, isn't it? Or is that
Well,
Milwaukee?
no, so it uses whoever's battery you have, but
Right,
Ryobi does make one of those.
right.
But then there's a China company, I'm assuming, makes one,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
got replaceable wands,
Hmm.
full voltage display screen with temperature, and
Yeah,
they're cheap. They're only like 70, $80.
yeah.
Um, but I haven't had a chance to do like a full deep dive on it because as soon as I got the Martin,
it fell to the wayside.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, and I have like a really nice Hako desoldering station. It's really nice, but it's a contraption. It's a wired cord, and
I love mine. My Hako. Oh, it's the best.
Dude. It's a big event though. Like you need some space on the table to work with it. So
mine sits underneath my bench, and the wand is the only thing that comes up. And I've broken one wand, but I broke it. Like it wasn't like it melted or anything. It literally got broken half. But the nice thing is you can just buy a new one. They're like $70. You can buy a new wand.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Hako Wellers. I mean, there's good ones out there.
Yeah,
I'm a Hako guy myself too, but I have used the Weller desolder station. I have used the battery powered Weller. So it is trash.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're just gonna be using it a couple times. Get whatever works. Whatever.
Oh yeah. You can get the Radio Shack $5.99 one.
Dude, I rocked the Radio Shack for a very long time.
Everybody started with the Radio Shack one. It's like $5. You plug it in, and you better unplug it when you're done because that dude gets hot.
Yeah, RC car, baby. RC car. Speaking of Marty, when are you going to give Recoil a look? We're still talking. Right now they're figuring stuff out. Ron just took over that part of the company, so I'm letting them figure it out. There's no reason for us to talk about something if they're not ready to be talked about.
Right.
So when they're ready, we're ready. Until then, yeah. So they got plans. They're trying to figure it out, what they want to do. Once they're there, then we'll talk. Until then, it just doesn't make any sense. So that's one of the things that it's like.
Well, they had a bad seed peddling their products for a minute. Unbeknownst, I don't think it was their intention to have that.
Oh no, they had no idea.
But yeah,
they know now.
Yeah, they know. but it was not a good look.
And some of the stuff that came out after that, like with the whole recoil thing, they didn't need to step away for a minute.
Yeah,
kind of.
Well, and I think they have some cool budget offerings. I mean, they got a whole line of stuff.
Oh no, they do. It's cool. I'm ready when they are. I just
just be ready. Right.
Yeah, Makita, dude. Makita's the best.
Makita's awesome. Yeah.
So, but the problem is like Makita screwed a lot of us early on, because everyone in the industry used the Makita right angle drill that had that long 9-volt battery. Everybody had one of those. That was the go-to right angle drill. Everybody had that. Well, then when they changed to, it's not lithium. What was the one before lithium? Nickel metal hydride.
Yeah.
So Makita had nickel metal hydride batteries, and they sucked. Like these things sucked so bad, and I think that burned a lot of people on Makita. Yeah. So I know it did me. I threw all my Makita crap away, and I went to Milwaukee.
Yeah. I have a mix of Milwaukee and Rigid, so we're kind of mixed up here. But
I did buy. Speaking of Ryobi, I needed a screwdriver, electronic screwdriver.
Yeah,
and really Ryobi was the only one that made one because I don't need it for everyday shit. I just needed one.
Right.
And so they had it at Christmas. I think I bought it for $40. It's a USB chargeable battery. I was like, man, you can't beat it. Screw it. This is perfect.
Might as well.
And they make a bunch of little silly tools that work off that battery pack. I was like, there's a couple of these I might want. Like they had a foam cutter. I was like, ooh. You
know what tool I want? What? Let me see if I can look it up before we go. Let me share this with you. This is a ridiculous price. Everyone's gonna hate it, but it's already on back order. Let me share it. Share screen. Here we go.
The suspense is killing me. Oh, this guy.
Dude, the retractable. It looks so
cool. There's a bunch of companies that make this, though.
Who makes it?
I've had multiple people send me this. So
I'm sure somebody makes them for them.
Yeah. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want this though. I want a version of this. Like
I don't.
If Harbor Freight comes up, I want it.
I don't. Because
Yeah.
it's gonna be flimsy shit.
No, listen, man.
Listen,
It's
it's
gonna
gonna
be
serve
great.
its purpose. I understand, but I mean,
No.
trust me,
Yeah.
there's a big metal bar with a hook on the end of it for a reason.
Yeah.
And this ain't it. I mean, this might be great for a Tesla, you know.
Yeah.
But to me, I was just like, I saw that and I go, man, I've literally bent the metal teeth on the end of mine trying to pry some of these things out.
Yeah.
I'll just be snapping that thing in half. And I'll be like, bro, that was
I got
$89.
one of the little metal ones that looks like a little spoon on the end. So far I haven't bent it, but it looks like it could be bent.
Yeah.
Yeah. The plastic ones, they last for a while and then they don't.
Well, you got to get the big red bar.
You got to get the big fat one.
Yeah.
That one is okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that one, bro. You get on something. You're like, I'm gonna break whatever the hell's on the other end of this because this ain't going.
Yeah.
Micro pry bar. Yeah, I mean, hey,
there you go.
Yeah, we buy these little. They're little pry tools that are for plugs on the back of, and they're fantastic. And I'm like, you just buy them like 5 or 10 at a time because they look like just little flathead screwdrivers, but it comes at an angle and it's flattened out. I was like, man, we could get these and laser our names into them. Probably sell them for double.
Dude, I got an
if I autographed them or had Haley autograph them.
There you go. She's the famous one. Dude, I bought a little electrical plug pair of pliers.
Yeah.
Best thing I ever bought. I bought it at the auto parts store at Napa.
Yeah.
It was like $12.99. And literally all those ones you've bend your fingernail on or you just put them on there, man. It's money. So best $12 I spent. All right.
All right. Well, hey, we're going to do another one. We're going to talk about stuff. Chris is going to be filling in for Fernando on Saturday. So,
oh man.
So he just found out. So he's gonna come in. I'm gonna settle on Chris.
You settle for Chris.
But no. So if anyone wants to tune in on the Saturday show, Chris will be filling in.
I come see
via
Chris.
this. He'll be at his house. I'll be at mine. We'll probably talk some 3D printer stuff because when it comes to 3D printing stuff, he's way more versed than I am, and I have questions. So,
well, I feel like Chris is around the same height as Nando, so it works.
No, oh yeah, you're right. Well, I mean, there's probably a couple inches, but not much. Yeah. So, all right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Sorry that it was not the happy-go-lucky normal show. Next time, bro.
Maybe next time. We'll see you next week.
He's saying I'm much taller. Jesus.
Yeah, we'll see about that.